He is someone who understands... Oh, sorry, am I allowed to swear on your live stream?
They might, cut ad rev, but whatever.
We'll cut it out when we go live. He's someone who understands that the only way to make change is to actually do something. And that's what we're doing here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, elected representatives, and their many assistants. Spare a thought for them. How many freaking beef Wellingtons have they had to eat? The whole time going, ooh, mushrooms? Punters, one and all here in this room, please make him welcome Top Punt, Supreme Punt, King Punt, Grand Poobah Punt, Punt the first of his name, Protector of the Realm, Heat Death of the Universe, Special Punt Edition, Supreme Commander Punt, Quantum Punt, where he is all punts at once. Give it up for His Excellency Generalissimo Punt!
Wow. What an introduction, but I assure you, just Punter is fine. Thank you. Let me just flex on my phone. Oh, look, my phone opens. Look at that. Give it up for Osher Gunsberg, everybody. Thank you. Now, for people from Canberra in the room, Osher is what's known as an attractive man. I know you're not used to getting many of those in Canberra. You're used to your Dan Tians and your Barnaby Joyces. So they say politics is showbiz for ugly people. Osher's actually from show business, so please don't burn him as a witch. Okay? So good evening. I got my speech here. I have my beverage of choice. How's everyone's beverages going tonight? Some heaps normal beverages? For no reason in particular, I am enjoying this beverage quite a lot. Good evening, my fellow punters, and welcome to the first ever Punters Lobbyist Fundraising Dinner, brought to you by Heaps Normal. Because paying to get special access to your politician is heaps normal. Thank you, everyone, for coming together as punters and politicians, because there are some in the room, to celebrate legalised corruption. We spend a lot of time worrying about all the illegal corruption in our politics, but tonight we want to pay a special tribute to the unsung heroes, all the hard-working people out there who are corrupting our democracy within the rules. We're obviously talking about lobbyists. Give it up for the lobbyists, everybody. Come on, let them hear it. They're in Canberra, let them hear it. Well, I'll have you know, these people are heroes, doing the vital work of... Sorry, can't seem to find the end of that bit there. Anyway, doesn't matter. Whatever they're doing, I'm sure it's very important, vital work. We are officially sold out because of you. And what a bloody great turnout we have. Thank you so much for coming along to this. This only happens because you care about this sort of stuff. I know you have plenty of other things you could be doing in Canberra on a Tuesday night. You might have some AUKUS bullshit or something you have to do, maybe an extramarital affair to get to. So I want to give a special shout out to some of the politicians that have managed to make it. I've got to adjust my notes because a lot of MPs are working or something. So special shout out, Green Senator Peter Wish Wilson is here. Give him a round of applause. Thank you for coming. If you didn't know, his name's Peter Wish, and he's married to Tim Wilson, and they hyphenated their names. Of course, very progressive, very Greens. Thank you. Independent Senator David Pocock is here. Give it up for Independent Senator. He's somewhere in the room. David Pocock likes to talk a lot about transparency, but I've been asking him all night to take his shirt off, and apparently that's where he draws the line. Do it for democracy, David. The people need to see. Yes! That's my lobbying effort for the night. Nationals Senator Bridget McKenzie is also with us. which is weird, but thank you for being here. I'll take it. None of the MPs are here. In all seriousness, I genuinely do appreciate all the politicians that have come tonight from across the political spectrum. A lot of them were invited. Unfortunately, not a single member from the Liberal Party or the Labor Party's decided to make it tonight. Boo. Which is weird, right? Like it's almost as if they're part of the problem. I don't know. Now, some of them have been kind enough to send through some apologies, though, so let's go through some here. Barnaby Joyce wanted to come, but David Littleproud said he's not allowed. Tanya Plibersek wanted to come, but Anthony Albanese said she's not allowed. Communications Minister Annika Wells was going to come, but then she cancelled when she realised it wasn't actually raising money for the gambling lobby. Jacinta Nampijinpa Price is not coming, but she doesn't send an apology because she thinks apologies are too woke. And Prime Minister Anthony Albanese couldn't make it tonight because he's booked in a shift at Rio Tinto. So tonight we're coming together to celebrate our awesome system of political lobbying and how our political parties raise money by selling access to our politicians to the highest bidder. And just so you know, regular Australians, these billionaires and lobbyists and corporate CEOs, they're just like you and me, just with a lot more money. You know, it might sound unfair that they get to buy special access, but let's remember, there's 17 million Aussie voters, and there's only 2,500 clients on the lobbyist register. So they're a persecuted minority, okay? They're the little guy. If politicians listen to big groups of voters instead of small groups of billionaires, that'd be bullying, really. We don't want to bully. I think the best part of our political lobbying system is the fact that the official lobbyists are registered. That's how you know they're good lobbyists, right? You know you're getting your value for money. Because, you know, good lobbyists have to be on a register, you know? Like a pet or a sex offender. Whereas I personally think lobbyists should probably wear ankle bracelets and microchips as well. But I'll leave it to Pocock and Bridget to maybe sort that out. Another great feature of our Aussie system of political lobbying is that it provides employment. More than 40% of registered lobbyists have been identified as former government representatives, including former government staffers and ministers. And you know what I say? I say thank God. Whenever someone like Scott Morrison or Peter Dutton leaves office, my first thought has always been, man, I hope they're going to be okay. Like, please let Peter Dutton find a job soon. I hear his son is struggling to buy a house. So the revolving door is so baked into our political system that the first question they ask in Woodside job interview is, so how long have you been a minister with the Labor Party? We've talked about registered lobbyists, that's great. We also have unregistered lobbyists. Under Australia's current transparency rules, the Register of Lobbyists only covers third-party lobbyists. And you might think, listen, it's pretty unfair that registered lobbyists have to follow these rules, whereas unregistered lobbyists don't have rules that they need to follow. But don't worry, the harshest penalty for a registered lobbyist if they break those rules is a 3-month holiday. That's the harshest penalty that they have. So let that be a lesson to any lobbyists ready to break the rules. Which brings me to why we are here. My favourite, totally legal and heaps normal way to gain special access to politicians is to pay tens of thousands of dollars to attend a business forum or a fancy dinner just like this one, so that you can gain special access to your politicians. So we here at Punters Politics, we looked at this incredible system of legalised corruption of the Australian political lobbying, and we thought, we've got to get in on that. All right? Because if you can't beat them, let's join them. And that's what we are doing right now. So it's great to see regular punters finally able to purchase access to their politicians, just like billionaires and gas executives who have spent many hours secretly lobbying our politicians in this very hotel room. So tonight, throughout the course of the night, we will be accepting money from wherever we can get it. And we're using it to fund a lobbyist for our funding a lobbyist to lobby for our direct interests. And best of all, it's totally legal and obviously heaps normal. Thank you. One person enjoyed that. And that's me for the... So, call me old-fashioned, but I think our politicians should be working for we the punters and not them, the foreign-owned mining cartels. So thank you so much for coming. Enjoy the food and drink up, lobby a politician if they're near you, because you have paid special access to get special access to them. Punters, here's to democracy. Cheers.
Cheers, cheers, cheers. Now, Conrad, there is I just received word, ladies and gentlemen, I've just received word, something very interesting. Now, everything you see, by the way, everything you see tonight is, at this point, currently legal under the AEST guidelines.
And heaps normal.
Totally. And this part especially, you'll be thrilled to know that I've just received word that an anonymous donor has gotten in touch and will match dollar for dollar every dollar raised tonight up to $25,000.
Wow.
That's right. Some completely legal dark money is going to help pay the wage of the Punters Lobbyist, and we're under no obligation whatsoever to disclose who they are. However, because we're trying to change how money works in politics, at the end of tonight, when we reveal the final amount, I will actually tell you who they are, which is very, very good. Now, you also have a chance tonight. Josh Zepps is going to come up here and record an episode of Uncomfortable Conversations, this brilliant podcast. You get a chance to pose a question. Or actually, we're also doing some policy voting as well. Now, the QR code, can we put the QR code up on the screen for us, please, Josh? Other Josh. You'll see on your table there is a small card that has QR codes on it. Now, this is not, let me be really clear, Conrad, this is not a raffle whatsoever, is it?
No, this is not a game of chance. That would be gambling. This is not a raffle. No.
No, not at all. Not at all. This is nothing to do with that. This is simply a competition of the best question. That's it. And, of course, the best question will be objectively judged by a panel of question experts who also happen to be the same people noticing how much you donate. Completely fine. All above board. So whatever questions you have for Bridget McKenzie and David Pocock up here with Josh Zepps, please submit them now. There's also live policy voting. Can you take us through that, please?
Yeah, so tonight, thanks to Pulse, our friends over at Pulse, we have set up, when we get a lobbyist, which believe me is phase 2, it's coming, we need to tell that lobbyist what to do, because they will work for us, we the punters. So in order to tell this lobbyist what they're going to lobby for when they head into Parliament House, you are going to tell that lobbyist what to do by scanning this QR code and voting for your favourite policy. Good news, it's exactly like Tinder. Swipe right if you like it, swipe left if you'd rather give it a miss.
Do we then say DTF at the end?
Yeah. Yes.
Excellent. I'm getting the hang of this Canberra thing. This is good. You'll also notice on your table there is a small card. If you've never lobbied a politician before, you'll notice on your table there's a card and you can simply fill it out, your name, what you're interested in, and there's a Freddo Frog there. There just happens to be a Freddo Frog on that piece of paper.
It's explicitly not a bribe. But if that chocolate makes the politician more amenable to the task or bill that you would like amended,
in their private time, they happen to be given a Freddo Frog while considering a question that they brought. Maybe they'll bring it up in the next sitting day. Who's to say? But that's it. So get amongst that. We're looking forward to judging that raffle. No, judging that competition.
It's not a raffle. Explicitly Not a raffle.
Absolutely not a raffle. We'll be judging that question competition and also the policy voting. Get amongst it. There's some food coming your way. We're back up here shortly. Thanks for being here.
Check 1, 2. One, two.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Welcome back, Punters on YouTube. I'm suspecting Instagram as well. Are we on Instagram as well?
Yes.
And Facebook is being a bit challenging.
Just blocked our content.
We're blocked. All right, we're on YouTube. That's great. Let's do some super chats for you live people out there in the live stream. There are people commenting. Some super chats have come through. How many super chats do we have? 1?
3 out of 20 so far for our goal.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, this is from Sheriff Big Dick Benson. I think
Maybe we should vet these names.
Maybe we should. I think we as Aussies need to say stop giving non-citizens tax returns, foreign corporations returns. You can work and contribute to bettering a nation, but you don't get a return if you're not a citizen. You know, my biggest concern for all of this stuff is foreign corporations. They are not paying their taxes. All our money is getting shipped offshore. 1 in 3 corporations don't pay tax. They use our roads, they use our courts, they use our bloody everything, and we are the ones that pay for the infrastructure they use. Bloody Netflix pays no tax. You did something on that.
Yeah.
Netflix pays no tax. What's the infrastructure that they use?
Well, the NBN.
We paid for the NBN,
for?
and then they don't pay tax. Their business wouldn't exist if we didn't have the NBN. So anyway, that's...
Imagine if Coles and Woolworths got all of their shipping and logistics for free. So their trucking, the diesel fuel that they use, the road, obviously the roads as well. Imagine if they got it for free. No, they have to pay for it. But these companies, for some reason, we build the infrastructure and then just give it away.
Yeah, and then they make billions.
They make so much money off it.
And pay no tax on it. While you're paying tax and I'm paying tax. So that's what really outrages me. Who else we got flipping through the comments there?
Let's go to our next biggest one. No, I think it was just a super sticker.
That was a super sticker. Thanks, Dashan.
Pradhan.
Cheers.
Here we go.
What do we got here? For all big consulting companies who do environmental impact statements for fossil fuel projects. Cheers. I guess they do, eh? But if the rules are super loose, then if we end up picking the cost up at the end of the day anyway.
Well, didn't one of the big 4 just got done for using AI in one of their reports? And it was someone else that picked it up. It wasn't the government. It wasn't the big 4 company.
Yeah.
It was an external person, and nothing happened. They didn't get punished. They didn't get any trouble. They still do contracts. They're like, oh, sorry guys, didn't mean to.
Yeah.
They literally made up facts.
Yeah.
They quoted a book which doesn't exist.
And we pay them millions of dollars to do that.
Oh, don't get me started.
Oi, punters, because this is like cash for access, right? Punters in the room, they've paid money, a reasonable price, to get in the room with politicians. We've got 6 or 7 politicians in the room right now, but I want to give you access to these politicians. So if you give a super chat and tell us which politician you want to come on the live stream to chat with us, I'll try and get them on. I can't make any promises, but I'll try and get David Pocock's over there, Green Senators are over here, Allegra Spender just walked in, so I can try and get them into the super chats, and you can ask them questions.
We'll bring them over here
and have a chat in the corner. So it's all sort of happening everywhere at the moment. What else we got? Anything else left?
What's this one? The donation.
This donation.
So by we burn it
to the ends.
At
both ends. We burn it at both ends. This donation is for a seat at the table for the next UNESCO come to make a decision on the status of the Great Barrier Reef World Heritage Area. If you want to get what you're wanting through Australian government, helps to have some money, doesn't it?
You gotta pay. I think that's it for any.
All right,
here's a good one.
Let's see what in honor of Engadine Maccas.
For those who know the story.
For those who know the story, that's what it is.
I wish he was here tonight, though. That would have been great.
Well, he might be. Stay tuned on the live stream.
He might be at Macca's.
Check out the live stream. What's pumping through the comments there?
Let's grab some.
Oh, okay. How many people tune in? We got a few. All right.
No, just read our normal chats. There we go.
No, just read our normal chats.
That's what we're doing, mate.
You're Benson, you're winning so far. I gotta get better at this. Please follow us in full screen on YouTube. Tax mining industry, buy Bitcoin, finance debt, build supply chains.
I can get on board with some of that.
Well, I'll get on board with some of that.
There's people arguing in the comments. We're not going to do that.
What's the scoop news tonight? I don't know. looking. Hey, does everyone like this jacket is actually Osher Gunsberg's jacket.
Very fancy.
So cheap ways to look rich was the theme for tonight. And this, I don't think it's ever been worn by Osher.
Oh, it's
nice.
It is
eh?
smooth. Oh
It's
my
a
goodness.
premium suit. So cheers, Osher Gunsberg. Education is key. Yep. Excellent. All right, shoot through any questions. Anyone? Santos got him. Yeah, we've got to watch out for
So
Santos.
super chats are good because it brings it right to the top of our feed and we can see it. You can pay for access, sure, but if you want to ask a small question for $2, we can probably accommodate.
So punters, I'm going to be jumping back and forth from this. I might duck off now. We'll collect some questions. If you want questions to be featured in a lot of stuff, what we'll do is go to the Chuffed campaign. You can donate, ask a question.
Link in the description in YouTube. Instagram, you have to go to the YouTube because there's no clickable link on Instagram. But YouTube.
Or Google Punters Politics Chuffed campaign, ask a question. All our donations are being doubled tonight to help us get a lobbyist into Parliament House. And tell us, buy access to a politician. Which politician do you want to bring on to the Super Chats to ask some questions? Vote for Zoran Mumdani. Wrong country, but...
That's only a couple of hours away, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it probably is. It's probably what people are watching on YouTube.
Exciting times. Let's change the name from minister to leader. Minister means servant, and Conrad is no servant of the crown.
He wears his own crown.
Oh,
just Punter is fine. I'm back in time. Let him have it, Conrad.
We can't be putting you on a pedestal, mate.
No, I'm just one of everybody else.
Vote Conrad #1.
Don't do that. I never want to go into politics. Katter. How good would it be if Bob Katter was here?
Oh my
That'd be
God.
so great.
Fly him down. We would have paid for his flight. Surely.
Yeah, the lobbyists.
Conrad's abandoned the plan.
Hey, this one's interesting. Someone said post F in the comments. There's a few Fs, and someone said if you're an AFP staffer, an APF Australian Parliament House staffer watching this, are you a staffer? Would you like to
have a chat?
All right.
We just got one more super chat come through. Let's have a quick squiz. Who was that last one? I'll go over here so everyone else can see it. Here we go. Ask David Pocock.
Ask David Pocock if he will run in my electorate, please. Currently have Dan Tehan. So that's Victoria, isn't Dan Tehan? Didn't they? Yeah. Wasn't the independent that ran against Dan Tehan? What's his name from Triple J?
No. Oh, he lost though, right?
Yeah, he lost. Yeah. There wasn't. I'm pretty sure. Fact check me. But Pocock's Canberra, and he's a senator.
Oh yeah, this guy.
Yeah. But who ran against him? What's his name?
Dan Tehan.
What's his name?
Who did run against
Triple
him?
J ran against him.
Oh, Alex.
Alex Dyson.
Alex
Dyson ran against him and lost. So.
Well, is Pocock federal or senator?
ACT senator. So
he's a senator. So he doesn't do federal politics. He can't.
Well, he does federal, but he doesn't. Yeah, he's not an electorate. Yeah. So we can ask him. We can ask him. They gave us money. We can. All right, I might run off.
Rock and roll.
And stay tuned, punters. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully, we can give you special access to the politicians tonight, just like the corporations get.
See you soon.
We are moments away, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, how's everybody's beetroot hummus? Really good. It was really good. If you can hear the sound of my voice, say shh. I love you. Gosh, you're such an obedient crowd. I love it. I've got the policy leaderboard. Who's been doing the live polling? Some great voting going on. The most supported policies so far. At number 3, drumroll please. At number 3, with 200 votes, end the corporate tax dodge. Which leaves in the bottom 2. It's been a while since I've done that. At number 2, copy Norway's 78% super profits tax. All right. And so far, as the leaderboard goes, the number 1 most supported policy for the Punters Politics official Punters Politics Lobbyist. Drumroll, please, Canberra. No more free gas for billionaires. Tickety-boo. How's the schmoozing? How's your own lobbying going? Pretty good? Pretty good. Shout out to the wonderful politicians who've joined us in the evening. This evening, the independent from Tasmania, Tammy Terrell is here. Steph Hodgins-May, a Green senator, is here. Another Green senator, unrelated, Barbara Pocock. Thank you for joining us. The independent senator from Western Australia, Fatima Payman's here. Having personally been someone who's walked on stage with hundreds of people screaming her name while fireworks go off and people dance me on, I know what this feels like, but she got a standing O walking in, the independent MP for my electorate of Woollahra. Wentworth. Please welcome Allegra Spender. Independent Senator of Canberra, David Pocock. From the National Party, Senator the Honourable Bridget McKenzie. And from the Greens, Peter Wish-Wilson. Thank you all so much for being here. It's so wonderful to have you here tonight. I do know there may be a vote happening later tonight, so we want to get Josh Zepps up here very quickly. Once again, you can get your questions in via the QR code, get them on there. The theme of this evening is indeed cheap ways to look rich, and I wanted you to know that I am wearing, it couldn't be cheaper than this, I'm wearing the exact tuxedo I wore to the 2023 Logie Awards, where I was nominated for a gold Logie. This is it. It's the second time. Second time I've worn it, and I accidentally forgot to give it back. There you go. I am thrilled to welcome up onto the stage a wonderful man. I've known him for a long time. He's a dear friend, and in my opinion, he's having some of the most important conversations that are happening in the public sphere. Josh Zepps has been a broadcaster for a very long time. He spent the majority of his adult life living in America, broadcasting over there. He came back here. He worked on the ABC for a long time. He's since gone solo. That's right, he's gone indie. He is rapidly creating an empire on Substack with Uncomfortable Conversations, a podcast, it's a show, you can watch it as well. A safe space for dangerous ideas. And it is a beautiful way to engage with conversations from people that you might go, I don't know, maybe. Because Josh, in such a wonderful, caring way, has honest and open and wonderful conversations that, dare I say it, give the benefit of doubt and humanity to the people he's speaking to. It's amazing. And I couldn't be more happy to welcome him here tonight. You are going to be a part of a live recording of Uncomfortable Conversations. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Josh Zepps.
Hey. Thank you, Osha. And thanks, Conrad. Thanks, all the punters. Thanks, everyone, for being here. Let's, without further ado, bring up 3 guests. Senator Bridget McKenzie, the first ever National Senator for Victoria, former Cabinet Minister, current Leader of the National Party in the Senate. Thank you for being here. Why don't you take the first seat there? David Pocock is the first independent ACT senator and a former rugby great for the Wallabies, of course. David, you can take the middle. And I'm so pleased that Allegra Spender, who apparently is the member for Woollahra, because that's all that exists in the eastern suburbs of Sydney, according to someone's born with a golden spoon in his mouth. Thank you, Allegra. If you have to run away and go and vote in the House of Representatives, that is fine. I will judge you forever and never forgive you, but that's all right. Do all of your microphones work? Oh, that's awesome. Great. Winning already. So, two independents. Obviously, you would be okay talking about money in politics, but certainly the way that money can infiltrate major parties. Major party politicians, as we can tell by the number who regretfully the invitation to be here tonight, tend not to be crazy about... They like talking about their positions on things. They just don't like talking about how they arrived at those positions and whether or not they were convinced by people who had lots of money to arrive at those. So, Bridget, what are you doing here?
What am I doing here? Well, I believe in showing up, turning up. The great people of Victoria elected me. Shout out to any Victorians in the house.
Let's hear it. Yeah.
Give me an amen. So I think it's important, if you are in a democracy, to participate in it in a real way. And, you know, a lot of what you've just said, I'm happy to discuss around what I'm influenced by now as a senior shadow minister, but also whilst a senior cabinet minister, and the role that fundraisers play in a democracy like ours. I've always had quite an open door policy as a minister, and even now, today, that if anybody from the Moorabbin Airport or, contacts me because they want to discuss an issue with me, then it's my responsibility to actually meet with them, irrespective of whether they come to a fundraiser or not. I think that's pretty sad reflection on our democracy. And the Nationals, you know, typically represent the poorer communities. And so if we only talk to people who came to fundraisers, then
You'd only
we
be
wouldn't
talking to
be really
miners.
talking to most of our punters out in the regions.
Well, huge props for coming. Thank you. I was just realising, actually, Osha's been on my show, and Conrad's been on my show, and Allegra's been on my show, and David's been on my show.
There's a theme.
There's a...
No judgment.
No, but so is John Anderson and Alexander Downer, and Tony Abbott's coming on next week, so there we go. But
All
thank you
guys.
for being here.
All guys.
I see. That was the theme. I thought you were saying they weren't from the conservative side of politics. Allegra's not a guy, as far as I know. So there seemed to be... part of the problem, it strikes me, with getting our heads around the way that money and politics can intersect, is that politicians, in addition to being politicians, are also human beings, and human beings are vulnerable to persuasion, the people who they surround themselves with, and there are subtle ways that powerful and well-connected people can influence the political process. So I think it might be helpful to I can think about sort of 3 ways that this shows up. One is registered lobbyists, which Conrad's already talked about, their influence and the ability of ministers to exit the government and then immediately go straight into lobbying their former government colleagues on behalf of the industry that they were regulating yesterday. 2, political party fundraising events like this one. Normally, if it was run by a political party, then high rollers would be able to buy the ear of ministers. They may not be able to persuade them, they may not be able to bribe them, but they can certainly talk to them. And the ministers don't have to reveal it, because they're supposedly there, not in their capacity as politicians, but in their capacity as human beings. They must be some really fucking charming human beings, because people pay a lot of money to go to dinner with them in a non-political capacity. And the third way is companies giving officials, things, officials who have the power to reward those companies. Like Bridget and I spoke when I had my ABC show a couple of years ago, and we'll touch on this, I hope, about Qantas giving everyone in, Parliament basically chairman's lounge access. And then miraculously, it's in the national interest for the federal government to run a protection racket on Qantas. So let's just take those one by one. Lobbying, David, what is a lobbyist?
According to the rules, or?
Well, I mean, we bandy the term around, like registered lobbyists, unregistered lobbyists. Is a lobbyist just a random person who is putting their position to a politician? Like, what counts as a lobbyist?
Crickets.
I mean, I think broadly it's someone who is coming to talk about a specific issue that either affects them or people that they are representing. And, you know, I think my frustration with talking about something like this is that the nuance just gets lost because, as you know, the media just wants a headline. They don't actually talk about the nuance of the issue. I think lobbying is a really important part of our democracy. If you are dealing with a bill or an issue, you want to hear from people who are being affected by it. They have a certain, and you know when you're meeting with them, like, clearly this is coming from this angle, but that's important because they are generally in the weeds on legislation. They've read it, they've consulted with their members or whoever it might be, and you want to hear those varying views. So I actually think lobbying is a good thing. The thing I take exception to is just how murky it all is in Parliament House, and I think it's the People's House. There should be full transparency about who has access, who gave them access, and who they're meeting with. And then we can actually judge decisions that are made and see, well, these are all people that they heard from and the government made the decision.
And Allegra, is it always clear to you as a parliamentarian exactly what the interest is of the person who is lobbying you? I mean, in other words, is the transparency only between the politicians and the punters, or is it also between lobbyists and politicians?
Look, I think it's mainly transparent. I'd say actually the parliamentary sports club aside, because I think that's been an example where it hasn't been very transparent why certain people are included in the parliamentary sports and some people aren't, and that has been lobbying and money in politics. But I'd say that I'd agree very much with what Dave said about you do need to hear from all sides. To be honest, what I try and do when I look at legislation is to say, well, who thinks what, and make sure I talk to people with different views, and that's really important. But I think the transparency is really important. And I was actually speaking to someone who was very senior in the state government, and he said he didn't realise when there was a particular piece of legislation up until they actually got transparent ministerial diaries. He didn't realise how many people from this organisation had gone, how many ministers this organisation had gone to speak to. And so, you know, when you're assessing an issue in government, to know that, you know, your entire cabinet has been spoken to somebody about this issue from a particular perspective, that's relevant. So this is about trying to get transparency about who's having those conversations, who's in the room, and how it's being done. Most of the time, I think you're pretty clear on who is lobbying you, I think. But I think it is just that transparency, even for politicians, so they realise who else their colleagues are all talking to too, and see maybe you're all talking to the same person, and actually you need to have some more diverse perspectives. That's
interesting. I hadn't thought about the transparency within the chamber itself, because I sort of roll my eyes a bit when we talk about transparency for the public, because yeah, if you're a journalist for the Australian Financial Review, then you want transparency, and it probably matters a lot to understand exactly who has been talking to whom. But for a regular person, like, they just want their government to do the right thing. Yeah. They don't want to do the wrong thing and then also know why it's doing the wrong thing. You know, like but it's helpful to understand that there's even a lack of transparency in you as an independent understanding how exactly the government has arrived at a particular conclusion in a bill, because you don't know who they've been meeting with. The Parliamentary Sports Club just came up. David, what's the Parliamentary Sports Club?
So there's a Parliamentary Sports Club at Parliament House. It's this weird setup because there is both a Department of Parliamentary Services run what you'd probably call a sports club. They have, you know, a gym, they run the courts, the fields, but then separately this Parliamentary Sports Club has been set up that I think has done really good work. It facilitates sport amongst parliamentarians. It's a great way to get to know each other, get some exercise done before what can be very long days inside. And I've really enjoyed engaging with them in the last term of Parliament. And there was this event where we had Running for Resilience, a great Canberra group, come to Parliament and do an event. And the Peak Gambling Lobby put that on LinkedIn. It's kind of as if like they were somehow involved in it. And someone brought that up with my team, and we're kind of looking at this going, this is very strange. I started to dig into it, and turns out that they had been paying the Parliamentary Sports Club to come and play parliamentary sport with politicians. I just, you know, again, like I probably, the nuance of it, I probably wouldn't have minded if old mate was lobbying that day and so just rocked up and did some exercise. Like, sure, you can play sport with someone you disagree with, but the fact that he was paying for access, the whole thing just felt yuck. And the more politicians I spoke to, no one really knew that was the case. And so I raised questions at Senate estimates and got kicked out of the club, which was funny because I hadn't even paid.
They need you more than
And because everyone wants to play sport with David Pocock, and then you're the
rugby
major
team would be
attraction.
lost.
It is understandable that you would be kicked out of the Parliamentary Sports
Bridget
Club.
Schooled me at netball, so
Yeah.
That's true. I do take him down at netball.
Look, he's not as sporty as Anthony Albanese, so we understand why David doesn't belong in a sports club. I don't think there's anyone in Parliament who could beat you in an arm wrestle except for Michaelia Cash.
take her
So-
on your peril.
Now that is it right that now that the sports club is registered as a lobbying group, that
No
basically no longer. So when it was, did that make the Prime Minister the president of a lobbying group?
For a brief period, yes. And again, like this is, so they had been registered as a lobbying organisation for many years under a different name, and then they officially changed their name to the Parliamentary Sports Club, updated it. This whole thing happened, and so then they sought advice from the Attorney General's Department, who oversees the lobbyist register, the official one. And the advice was, you're not actually a lobbying organisation. Which again, like, you're taking money from corporations and lobby groups to provide access to politicians. Like, surely that's covered by some sort of lobbying code of conduct. I don't know, it's so loose.
Bridget?
Well, yeah, I think it's very murky and has been murky for a long time. I'm co-captain of the parliamentary netball team, and we were outside.
Why does that get a laugh? It's a great thing to do.
I'm old. 'Cause I'm
Netball.
old. I'm a lot slower than I used to be. But David's right. This has been murky for a long time, and the netball club sat outside this club for a reason. So this club also takes journalists, all play politicians, the press versus the politicians. They go on rugby trips and cricket trips, tennis trips to Wimbledon, Lords, Rugby World Cup, etc. So there's a real issue with who is having access to these MPs and how is this business model being funded. Yeah. So I think the work you did was fabulous in uncovering that, David. Well done.
So, Allegra, you said that lobbying is necessary, and I can accept that, like, we do hear the argument that big companies need access to politicians because it's in the national interest for companies to do well. I mean, everyone would appreciate that it is important for a CEO to be able to put their case to a government. But then why do they need to pay? You know, like, it strikes me that you only need to pay people to do things that they wouldn't do for free, right? It's a cabinet minister's job to consider all views. They're getting paid a salary to deliberate even-handedly. If someone else is paying them for their consideration, then either the minister isn't doing their job or the payment is intended to subvert even-handed deliberation.
Look, I don't. It's a great question, and I think the point is a right one, is that what you need to do, and to be clear on lobbyists, you know, you also have the environmental movement and others, you know, really important community groups come and talk to you in the same way, lobby you on pieces of legislation. That's really, really important. As well as, you know, the people in the punters in sort of, certainly in my area. But I think, you know, you're right to say, you know, why should they be paying? Because this is actually our job. And I think this has been one of the biggest areas, I think, of murkiness in terms of electoral donations, has been these sort sort of fundraising sort of dinners, these dinner clubs, or these things that have been set up by the party systems where there are all this money changes hands, and often it's not had to have the same disclosure levels as other sorts of donations. It's one big murky mess.
And just before we get to that, because I'm glad you've done the segue into the fundraising dinners, but this question, Bridget, of the revolving door of ministers being able to go in and become lobbyists, the argument that you hear for that is fair credit whip, they need to be able to get a job after they've been a politician. They wouldn't be able to get a job, supposedly, if they weren't getting a job as a lobbyist. You have a double degree in teaching and applied science. How incompetent would you have to be to not be able to get a job as anything but a lobbyist?
Well, I think when you leave politics, depending on the level you get to in Parliament, but you do get a lot of skills along the way, particularly if you've had to run a department and have a senior portfolio, etc., and sit on the expenditure review committee. You do get a lot of skills. But Alistair and Paul and I were talking about this, hey guys, at our table, because literally when you are sitting in those senior subcommittees of Cabinet, dealing with literally top secret information, state secrets, there needs to be assurance that you're not trading in that post your political career. I think in the national interest, that is a sensible thing to happen. But outside of, thank you, one person over there, clap that, because that is what happens. And because your independence, will never be a scenario that you guys will be in. But for the parties that are involved in government, that is a literal consideration when you leave politics. So will I be back at universities lecturing as a out and proud Conservative? I look forward to getting my old job back, but hopefully I won't be shut out. I think it's a serious and a legitimate concern that senior cabinet ministers aren't able to hold positions where that information can be shared post-politics for a period of time.
Right. What's a fair period, do you reckon?
For the caravan to move on, I think it depends, whether it's 10 years or whether it's 2 to 5, I think that's...
But it should be at least an electoral cycle, maybe.
I think so.
Or maybe until the end, maybe until the election after next or something.
I think that's sensible. But should you be locked out of senior roles in public companies, etc., outside your former portfolio area? I don't think that would be fair.
Right. What do you reckon, David?
I think it's currently 18 months is the period around there. Clearly this is a big problem, and I think one of the other problems, which I think is potentially harder to regulate, is staff, because they often know more, way more than the politician, and there's also a revolving door of staff.
Yeah, right.
And you see them turn up. So this is something we have to look at.
So how could you look at that? Because presumably if you ban staff from getting jobs in the private sector, you're never going to be able to get any decent staff.
This is a really hard thing. And, with politicians, I think Australians don't want to pay a handsome pension to former politicians. And so what do you do with people who spend a decade or two in public life and then get out of it? What are their options?
Well, isn't there a difference between them going on into a role in which they're lobbying government on behalf of a corporation and them going into a role in which they're working inside a company in which their portfolio gave them expertise and simply advising that company to enhance the well-being of that company, but without the interface with their former colleagues?
Potentially, but you've got to remember we have a system where the government relations team for Qantas, Woodside, Santos, name a big company, aren't lobbyists. They're in-house lobbyists who get us...
Greenpeace.
You get one of these sponsored passes from politicians and away they go. So
right.
this is the hard thing. But
This is why I asked what a lobbyist is, because it is very confusing. Like, a lobbyist is also just a person who works in a company who wants the best for that company and tries to pull every string that they can. You know?
And I think I'm going to come back to transparency. I know you were saying, that's just another, how serious or important that is. But I think, particularly when it comes to staff, it's really hard because you want to get the best people you possibly can, and you want people who have experience of the real world, of business, of environmental areas to come and work for you, and then also to be able to get a job afterwards. But I think if you have greater transparency of who's in the room, where they come from, then we have a greater chance of actually managing this. This is why, ministerial diaries and transparency of lobbying, I think, is at least part of the solution of trying to hold this stuff to account. It's imperfect.
So I just want to raise that major corporations aren't the only people with lobbying passes, right? So Salvation Army has to have a lobbying pass. Mission Australia, Oxfam, all of these fabulous NGOs that are doing wonderful work across our democracy also have to have lobbyist passes. So, and it is an individual decision as MPs about whose lobbying form we sign. I've only got one, and it's the Salvation Army, because I took a decision many years ago that I didn't want to be responsible for that. And that's, whereas other people are very much involved in signing passes for their own individual philosophical reasons. So I think that's something that has to consider as well, where the parliament as large as ours, we all come there with our own view of how our democracy should work and our best way to engage in that.
If you're just tuning into the live stream, let me just tell people what we're doing. Senator Bridget McKenzie of the Victorian Nationals is with the leader of the National Party in the Senate, independent Senator David Pocock from the ACT, and independent Member of Parliament Allegra Spender, who represents Wentworth in Sydney. I'm Josh Sepson. This is a mini episode of Uncomfortable Conversation, which you can get on all podcast platforms and on Allegra.
Allegra, well, I'm going to excuse myself, because I don't want you to ask me any difficult questions. I actually have to go and speak on freedom of information in the House.
Thank you so much.
Very soon.
Wonderful to see you again. Thank you, Allegra. Let's hear it for Allegra Spender. The pressing matters of state beckon. So, Allegra mentioned these dinners, this one, but the ones that are run by the parties. So the parties have, if you don't know, these fundraising arms. Labor has this federal Labor Business Forum. The Libs have the Australian Business Forum, and the Nats have the National Policy Forum. And the parties can raise maybe 5 times as much money from running events where people pay to have access to ministers or senior politicians than they do from political donations. So a lot of people might remember that there was a scandal in 2022 when gambling executives from the Responsible Wagering Australia lobby group hosted the Communications Minister, Michelle Rowland, at a lavish lunch for her birthday in a private dining room at one of Melbourne's best restaurants, while Labor was considering how to deal with gambling advertising. And then this August, Labor was in the steaming pile of you-know-what again, because the grand ballroom of the Fullerton Hotel in Sydney was all aflutter with 400 to 500 hard-working Aussie battlers who'd paid $18,000 for a table, or up to 110 grand for an annual subscription to the Federal Labor Business Forum. Conrad, are you about to talk about exactly this?
I'm going to sub in another politician.
Oh, fabulous. Great. Hey! Welcome. So if you paid 110 grand a year to the Federal Labor Business Forum, up to 110 grand, there are other, more reasonable prices for the lowlier among us, then you get discounted tickets to these things. And get this, you are actually allowed to submit in advance a short list of ministers who you would like to be seated with at your table. But the party doesn't say that there's going to be a minister seated at your table, because that would imply that you're there for a political reason. But you're actually just there because you really like the person, remember? Because you don't have to declare this. So they're just VIP guests. They're just VIP guests who happen to be ministers in the government. We know who went to this function in August. The Prime Minister, the Home Affairs Minister Tony Burke, the Social Services Minister Tanya Plibersek, the Industry Minister Tim Ayres, the Energy and Climate Change Minister Chris Bowen, the Infrastructure Minister Catherine King, the Defence Industry Minister Pat Conroy. How do we know all these people were there? The only way we know they were there is because they were photographed going into the hotel. There is no duty of disclosure about who was there, who they met with, how much the people who paid to sit at their table paid, or what they talked about. When journalists from the Australian Financial Review asked the minister's officers if they went to this dinner and who they met with, they got this reply from Communications Minister Annika Wells' staff, and I quote, "I've decided that any document which may exist and which would be relevant to your request would not be an official document of a minister." They're just people. They're just people who other people will spend $110,000 to have dinner with. So, how charming are these people that people are willing to pay that kind of money? Oh, hang on, are we getting swapped out?
No, I think she left a lobbying pass, I think, Pete, wasn't it?
What do we do about this?
Well, yeah, how charming was the question, wasn't it? There's actually a bunch of ministers downstairs having dinner. You could ask them right now. I thought they were coming up here, but they weren't. Well, I think they're very charming people, but it's really clear, isn't it, that folks aren't going to expensive dinners to sit down and have a conversation about their, anything other than what they're truly interested in influencing government about, Each minister is in fact a member of parliament or a senator. They have opportunities to talk to people out in the community. They have offices where people could access those ministers in their constituency. But everyday Australians are not paying just shy of $16,900 to go to dinner with a minister. And there's a reason for that, because if you pay that money is going into the coffers of a major party, and it's going into those coffers to raise funds for elections. So there's a really clear reason why people are showing up. They want to influence this. They want to have the ear of a minister, and that's a really effective way for them to do it.
And thank you. Bridget, the cynical explanation, or the sort of cartoon cutout version of what happens here is that some evil corporate titan whispers in the ear of the minister, and then the minister is willing to do whatever they think because they were treated to a fancy dinner.
Wouldn't be much of a minister that did that.
What is more insidious is what you and I were talking about in 2023, which is, I'm using this as an example here, which is that politicians, as we've already established, being humans, have a worldview that is shaped, at least in part, by the worldview of the people who are around them and what makes them comfortable and things that seem reasonable to them. So it's quite easy for a person's conception of the national interest, actually without any cynicism on their part, to be shaped by the circles that they swim in. Do you want to describe, you chaired the sort of investigation into the Qantas...
Thanks to David. Yes, I did get to chair that. That vote was incredible.
So this was an instance where it was clear that the government seemingly genuinely believed that it was in the... Maybe not genuinely, you're shaking your head. David, it wasn't genuine?
No.
The government claimed to believe that running a protection racket for Qantas was in the national interest. And every single time I asked, and I spoke to... Bridget was then the shadow presentation minister. Still are. My apologies. And we were constantly putting in requests from the ABC to the Transportation Minister and simply asking things like, is there any difference between the national interest and Qantas's interests? And she would send me transcripts of doorstops that did that said things like, journalist, what is our national interest as far as the Qatar decision? Catherine King, I'm not going to comment any further on that. To which I asked the Minister, does the public have a right to know how the government defines the national interest?
The public does have a right to know, and you were a very good journalist to follow up with that minister. We know that Qantas has wielded so much power within Parliament House over transport ministers of both political persuasions for a very, very long time. But because of the Senate inquiry, we were able to get up, and David's vote was critical to getting that up. We were able to disclose that the Qatar decision, I believe, was made because of the political influence of Qantas. We were able to make sure Alan Joyce's golden parachute was cut. We were able to get changes to the board of Qantas as a result of disclosing the behaviour of that organisation. And through another Senate inquiry, we were able to get over $100 million of COVID flight credits returned to Australian consumers because of the political pressure we were able to put on that corporate because of the way our parliament operated. And as I recall, one of the questions I was getting asked was, well, hang on, aren't you a member of the Chairman's Club? Like, isn't that a conflict of interest? Like, if it was a conflict for me, I would not be taking this organisation down like we have. That's the difference. And I think that comes down to personal integrity and character. There's a classic line in The West Wing when someone's asking, I think the Republican presidential candidate, you know, who's at exactly one of these sort of things with an oil or gas supplier, and he said, if you can't take their money and then screw them over, you don't deserve to be in this job. And I kind of have taken that as my mantra, because you do, well, you know,
I reckon we should ask the Punters about this, you know.
Helen,
should we have membership of the Qantas Chairman's Lounge? I mean, I think we have to be careful.
Do you have the character to stand up to power rather
Absolutely.
than just critique
I have
those?
no problem with that. But I think you can't, I really think you can't have a bob each way on this stuff. I really don't. And I think the punters may be agreeing on that.
I mean,
what would you say, Dave Pocock?
So elections are expensive, right? To the substantive point, elections are expensive. We saw Climate 200 spend, you know, okay, no worries. I thought it was a safe space. I thought it was a safe space, punters.
Please, Bridget, finish the thought.
No, my point is that we are in a democracy, and all sides in our democracy participate in that. So you can't critique one side fronting up to the National Party fundraisers or the Liberal Party fundraisers or the Labor Party fundraisers and then not be prepared to accept the fact that millions of dollars have been spent on election campaigns in certain seats like Cowper, like Calare,
all disclosed.
Yeah, but Helen, my
this is
point
the bit
is
though, Bridget. I think it's about the disclosure. It's about the disclosure and the transparency.
Elections are expensive, and I think it's important that everyone, all punters, left, right, centre, interested punters like tonight, disinterested punters, that we have to spend a lot of money to getting their attention, and all sides of politics have to do that. And there's got to be some way to fund that.
I don't disagree. There does need to be a way to fund it. We just need to be honest with punters, left, right, centre, interested, not interested. We just need to make the rules fair and equal for everyone so they're disclosed. I mean, that's the point in tonight, right? Like dinners where that influence is not disclosed.
Yeah, and I would just add also that whilst I applaud your courage, Bridget, in having taken that fight on, it was also massively politically advantageous for you to do so. So, I mean, it was a...
How so?
Well, I mean, you were the shadow transport minister, and the transport minister was in deep shit, and so it was like a great
my
kick.
job. So the way
exactly,
our
that's right.
system's set up is for a parliament of
Yeah,
independence.
and you did a good job on that.
Shadows
Yes.
versus
No,
ministers.
I'm not saying it was.
So-
I'm saying it was absolutely the right thing to do, but it
is
doesn't
political.
negate the effect on the parliament as a whole from there being inducements. Just the fact that one person is able to say, I don't give a stuff about my Chairman's Lounge membership because it is my job now to go in and fight against the hand that's feeding me, it doesn't mean that the hand should be feeding everybody the way that it is.
But again, to Helen's point, that's all disclosed. All of our chairman's memberships
that's
are
true.
disclosed.
Yeah. I mean, David, should a big company that, like, should it be just giving people shit like that? I fly a lot of miles to get my emerald status, you know?
I disagree. I think it's something that has been normalised, that if you translated that into a different... So say the banks gave politicians a discount on their mortgage. Like, we'd be pretty outraged. And I think, a part of this...
Someone said they don't have mortgages.
Huh?
I just heard someone say they don't have mortgages.
They've just got many mortgages. I think one of the things we need to be talking about is, and I guess it's kind of to Bridget's point, like there are real conflicts of interest, but I think perceived conflicts of interest in politics, particularly where we are at this point in time with politics and declining trust in politicians and institutions, we have to actually deal with these perceived conflicts of interest, and as politicians say, we're going to hold ourselves to a higher standard to try and rebuild the trust, because when you're in turbulent times, you desperately need institutions that people can trust, to look to and trust. And I think it's the same with politics. We have a huge task on our hands to try and rebuild trust in it. And I think for me that it's not a huge sacrifice, surely, to give up a Chairman's Lounge membership in exchange for that.
I mean, it's pretty good in there, though, David.
Do we have time for a couple of questions from the punters before we go? I know we're out of time, but is that okay? Are we going to ask? Can I ask these questions, Conrad?
We texted them to you.
Yeah, I've got them. Yeah, I'm just asking if I'm going to go over time. So, the punters have been asking questions, and they have also completely unrelatedly been pledging donations. And it just so happens that the two best questions are the two highest donations. Totally coincidentally. No conflict whatsoever. This is the equivalent of the Chairman's Lounge right here. Mr. Andy Lee has pledged $300 to David Pocock, not to David Pocock, to ask the question of David Pocock. What do you see as the most viable political route to securing greater transparency from this future governments?
I think political pressure, and that is cold, hard numbers in the parliament. Like, the thing I've seen is that things are impossible until you have a majority of politicians who want to do something, and then it happens tomorrow. And so I think more and more Australians raising their voice, but also voting for people who are going to get in there and actually do what they say they're going to do, and not just say one thing in opposition, get in there and just enjoy the perks. So, yeah, I mean, I think if you look at what happened in Canberra here at the election in Bean, with...
The entire electorate of Bean is here.
That places pressure on the Labor Party to actually deliver, and I think we're going to see more and more of that if people aren't acting in line with what Australians want.
A question from a punter named Tash Poole, who pledges $100 totally coincidentally. Senator Mackenzie, will Australia ever see the protection of animals and the environment placed at the heart of national policy, not as obstacles to economic growth, but as vital foundations for our prosperity, food security and well-being?
Sorry, I don't quite... Can I just...
Tash.
Yeah, no, Tash, I get it. So animals...
The protection of animals and the environment.
Absolutely. We need triple bottom line, and I think animals... We have very high standards of protection of animals, and we have some of the toughest environmental standards in the world. Net zero.
But that wasn't the question. Net zero wasn't.
Exactly.
It wasn't about net zero.
But I'm very happy to talk about our cheaper, better, fairer plan for lowering emissions here in Australia that the National Party announced this week. But by the groans in the audience, I guess I'll have to go back to the bush to get a welcoming smile on that one.
I mean, it is interesting as being a national in the battle, I guess, between environmentalism. In terms of like what farmers and rural communities need, in terms of what they're seeing with their water, in terms of salination, all that sort of stuff, versus
Absolutely.
the need also to...
And I mean, our agriculturalists and our farming community are on the front line of being first conservationists. Instead of being told that they're trashing the land, our farmers, often intergenerational, are the ones that are caring for country and preparing to hand it on for the next generation. And I think I'm sick and tired of a lot of Australians bagging out people on the land as if they're trashing it. They're the ones trying to protect the waterways, protect the soils, regenerate and reforest a lot of our land. But we also produce a lot of food, and we're a beautiful producer of clean, green food that we export globally. We export 80% of what we actually grow in this country. We need to be proud of that instead of trying to shut down our sheep industry, our cattle industry, etc. So I'm a champion. I'm a former agriculture minister of this country. I think we need to be very proud of the way we produce food, the way we care for our animals and our land. Unlike so many other countries around the world, our farmers are doing a great job.
Helen, do you want to wrap us up with a final word?
I just wanted to back Bridget in on being careful not to demonise farmers, and I don't think folks in this room are trying to do that. I think really the first environmentalists in Australia, of course, were our Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, and they still are. And I see, I'm fifth generation farming family myself. I know that farmers plant thousands of trees, hundreds of thousands of trees, heavily engaged in land care, which has been one of the most successful citizen science environmental projects of our nation, and one that has been exported all over the world. But we can't deny that we all need to do more to protect our precious native species. In my own electorate, I was just out recently on a farm where they're creating wildlife corridors with the local land care group to protect the swift parrot, an endangered species. Before the House right now, we are debating, in fact it's just where I ran from, why I was late getting here, the EPBC reform bills. Huge amount of legislation, desperately needed reform to protect nature. I think there's some really good things in that legislation which would satisfy most people who care deeply about nature, but there's some fundamental gaps and loopholes that I'm concerned about too. And they're around things like ministerial discretion when there is a question of national interest. Now, I don't belong to the camp that says we shouldn't have ministerial discretion at all. I don't believe that. I think it's again coming back to the transparency of those decisions so that everybody knows why a minister may have made a decision contrary to that of the best available evidence, science, and indeed the recommendations of the new EPA, if it's in fact legislated. Explain why that's the case, and I think we need tighter definitions about what the national interest actually is. So I could go chapter and verse into a whole lot more about that, but to that question, it's a really important one. We are debating it right now, and just also picking up on Bridget's points and around regional communities. I represent a magnificent, huge regional community. People care deeply about nature, but they're also really concerned that they want to be at the table early when it comes to development and approvals, whether that be a grid-scale renewable energy project or whether it's a housing project or something else. So I think one of the things I'm talking to the Minister about is ensuring that we get early, meaningful, best practice community consultation in our standards so that punters, whoever they are, whatever they think, have the opportunity to get involved and to be part of that early decision making.
Helen, thank you. David, thank you. Bridget, thank you so much. You should follow Uncomfortable Conversations on any podcast platform for more conversations about some of the most important issues of the 21st century that people find it tricky to talk about. Coming up, Punter's going to be giving out a very special award to someone in the room. First, enjoy your dessert. Thank you.
My goodness. Josh Steps, ladies and gentlemen. What a conversation. That was brilliant. If you are, just a quick bit of housekeeping here, if you are a VIP punt, if you are if you are it's a priority politician lobbying pass. If you bought a priority politician lobbying pass, can you find Punter Conrad here? Go meet him up on the red carpet, the way you came in. If you bought yourself a priority politician lobbying pass, meet Conrad right here on the red carpet. We're going to make that happen right now. Desserts on the way, surely, because I am going to reveal the dark money donor.
Try now. When I'm in the dark, I turn to the solar lighting specialist at Black Frog Solar. For 10% off all your solar lighting and installing needs, use the discount code PuntersPolitics10. Tell them the Punter sent ya. He's not breathing. Does anyone know CPR? No. Ooh. Don't let this happen to you. From workplace training to event medical services, Colmed Group have got you covered. He's not breathing. Does anyone know CPR? No. Ooh. Don't let this happen to you. From workplace training to event medical services, Colmed Group have got you covered. Oi, Mum, what's for dinner? Oh, I picked up some pies. A meat pie? Ew, Mum, that's gross. You know what's in those? Not a meat pie, silly. I got them from Funky Pies in Bondi. They're handmade and vegan. Oh, yum! Funky Pies. Great tasting food that treads lightly on the planet. What's up? You see that Lamborghini? Yeah, it's broken down again. Parts are really expensive too. Honestly, I should have gone to WhipSmart. WhipSmart, the smarter way to own an EV. 1 monthly fee, everything included.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Hey, punters on the live stream. I haven't forgotten about you, neither has Josh. So we're here, we got some super chats, I guess. The room's buzzing, everyone's talking. A lot of the politicians, once they finish doing what they were here to do, they just piss off. And so I'm trying to give the punters that paid access to politicians, to give them a special moment with politicians and make them feel really special and VIP. So we can still try and get some politicians on the live. Green Senator Peter Wish-Wilson on here, I reckon. He could probably rail against some of what Bridget McKenzie was saying. It got fiery, didn't it?
Look, I've got respect for her.
Yeah.
I personally wouldn't vote for them for my own interests, but the way they conducted themselves.
No Liberal Party politician, no Labor Party politician, but Bridget McKenzie rocks up.
And she's happy to take the flack.
Yeah.
And sure, she talks like a politician and stuff,
Yes.
but I think she held it quite well.
Yeah, it got a bit heated between Helen Haynes and Bridget McKenzie there.
It was hard watching the stream while trying to keep
it got heated. So let's see if any... Thanks for joining the stream and the super chats here. Where are we up to on the...
Well, this is a great one to start with.
I don't like Susan Lane, but she's hot. We'll pay it. Gin and tonics, well played. Thanks for the donation there. And I'm sure Bridget will be stoked to hear that.
We should bring this one up later.
To any and all of the panelists, have you been lobbied by Woodside in 2025? Bloody great question.
We'll ask if we can get down.
Yeah, I'll go and ask whichever politicians are left. Which are funny, the ones that will have been lobbied by Woodside, one wouldn't tell you, two, they're not here tonight.
Or they left early.
Yeah, that's a good panelist question. Yeah, we're juggling a lot of things here: a live stream, a live event, a live show. We're feeding 220 people. It's a ridiculous one.
You know what? I'm happy with what we're doing so far. So here we go. Oh, super chats are for questions, by the way, guys. But statements.
We'll put them up. Foreign companies pay tax and royalties or prison. I love this. Yes, ethical hacker.
Well, look, if I went to the ATO and was like, oh, sorry, guys, I just had a bad year. I owed Conrad, my mate, a lot of money, so I had to transfer a lot of my accounts over to him.
Yeah.
And then he transferred stuff over to his mate.
So you didn't have to pay tax that year?
No, of course.
Yeah.
Why would I have to pay if I had to pay someone else?
Yeah.
That's how it works.
But
I would go to jail.
Yes, and that's the crazy thing. With these corporate crimes, they're so huge, they would go to jail. These people would be in jail, but they're not. Because they make the rules so that when they get in trouble, it's like, oh, oopsie daisy, let's pay $1 million fine. Which, as Michael West Media has spoken about, and as I'm always railing about, the fine is so small, it's smarter to commit the crime and pay the fine. That's how they made the rules. Qantas' fine?
What was their record fine?
$90 million.
$90 million,
and I think they saved like $100 million a year or something.
Yeah,
like that.
from
fact checks welcome on that, but.
Live Googling here, but so about 120 million. No, wait.
In compensation. So they had to pay some compensation, but I'm pretty sure the numbers wash out once you add up how much they saved over the 4 years and the court proceedings, how much that would have cost. Qantas came out on top. Like if you're a CEO and you're a shareholder, you're just like, great move, well done. We saved heaps of money. We paid a little bit of fine.
If the cost of doing the crime is less than paying the fine. Sorry, if the cost of doing the crime pays more,
it's less than the fine. I like the fine there. Then you're up, and it's good business. Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you do it? That's just capitalism. That's just incentives.
Yeah. You can't blame the corporate CEO for doing it. Well, you can, but also lock him up. If you gave these guys jail time, I guarantee it would never happen again.
Just have the same rules they have for us.
That's all I'm asking.
That's it. Equal playing field.
That's so good.
Okay, so this is more of a statement, but here we go.
Statement from Jean Morrow. LNG companies use almost as much of our gas for the processing as the rest of Australian industry. They should pay the same as anyone else does. Honestly, if the gas industry's paid what we are currently paying for gas in our home,
oh my God,
we would be rich.
That's so much money.
So rich. Yep, I'm with you, Jean Morrow. Thanks for the $5. Any other questions in the super chats? Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I know it's a long live event. We'll be back with some festivities soon. I probably got to run and schmooze some more pollies. Let's one more. Anyone here?
That's for Bridget. Here we go, this one.
Okay, True Nature. Why does government housing put known violent offenders in the same apartment building as single mums, women, as they know, as escaped prison. Honestly, I have no idea. That, my friends, is above my pay grade.
That's probably above our pay grade as well.
But we'll keep an eye on it. And if they do that, that's probably not great.
What a one to end on.
Yeah, what a one to end on. All right.
Go see if you can track down a politician or two in the
Yeah,
meantime.
I'll see if I can get a politician come on Super Chat at the end of the night.
What do we have coming up next, by the way?
We've got some awards. We've got the Coincidence Awards coming up. Stay tuned. We've got some special guests that you might not expect coming up. So thanks Josh, Michael West Media.
I wonder who it could
I appreciate his man in the desk here. So this is fantastic. Just have a look at the room. It's a pretty good turnout just there.
Yeah.
Everyone,
that's pretty solid.
Dessert's about to be served. There's Independent Helen Haynes is still here. That's fantastic. Someone's come dressed as ScoMo. ScoMo on holiday.
Oh, we should talk to him later.
The guy on holiday. That's fantastic. All right, I'll catch you guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you soon. Thanks.
Boom.
When I'm in the dark, I turn to the solar lighting specialist at Black Frog Solar. For 10% off all your solar lighting and installing needs, use the discount code PuntersPolitics10. Tell them the Punter sent you.
He's not breathing. Does anyone know CPR? Don't let this happen to you. From workplace training to event medical services, Coleman Group have got you covered.
Well, wasn't that delightful? Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the final stretch of our wonderful evening here together. The fundraising is going very, very well. And I'm happy to announce that we just might get to the $75,000 tonight. We're very, very close. We're very, very close. If you had it within you, we're nearly there. If you had it within you, extra $20, extra 50, extra 100, we're very close, and will get us over the line. Maybe about 10, 15 minutes left to throw a bit more in there if you wanted to. There's a QR code on your table should you wish to donate. People watching the live stream, if you want to donate, we're real close. Don't forget, every dollar that you donate will be matched equally by our dark money founder, whom I will reveal. at the end of this evening, which I'm very excited about. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you could be so kind as to shut the fuck up for a little bit, that'd be really great. Especially you, front table chatty man. Yep. Yeah, you. No, that one there. Yeah, you. Yeah, you're all right, mate. It's good. Thank you so much. As I mentioned, everyone looks fantastic. Cheap ways to look rich. I do have to shout out to a very special person. Now, 2 people are here tonight. They wanted to come here tonight, but they love our country so much they couldn't afford a hotel room, so they said, we're sleeping in our car. Who are those 2 people? Who are they? Where are they? Where are they? Can they identify themselves? Where are they? You guys right here? You guys right here? All right. That doesn't abscond you from talking when I was trying to speak before. What kind of car is it? A Jeep. Oh, fuck. I'm surprised you got here. Oh, it's your mum's car. I'm surprised. Never mind. Well, there is another punter here in the room, Billy. Billy won the free night's accommodation as a part of it. Congratulations, Billy. Billy has a free hotel room. Billy lives in Canberra. And so, through the generosity of Billy, where are you? Where are you, Billy? Stand up for me, mate. Through the generosity of his heart, Billy is going to give you 2 a hotel room for the night. Yes! You get a hotel room. You get a hotel room. Billy gave you a hotel room. Thank you, Billy! And that is Australia right there. People actually caring for each other. I love that. So in the honour of Billy giving these guys a hotel room, if you wanted to donate another $20, please go ahead and do it. Now's the time. As I mentioned, this is my awards show suit, which I wore the night that I lost a gold Logie to Sonia Kruger. Don't worry, right after that, I became unemployed. But, you know, the good news, as I mentioned, is I forgot to give the suit back. So, yeah, suit effectively cost me nothing, which is good because it is a suit I wear to awards, and you, my friends, are about to see the presentation of a very special award, so I'm glad I'm wearing a suit for it. So would you please welcome back to the stage the eternal Chairman Punt, Chief Justice Punt, Pope Pump the Infallible, the Lord High Admiral Punt, the Lord Puntmongus, the warrior of the wasteland, the Ayatollah of rock and roller!
Just Punter is fine, as I keep saying. Tonight, I've got... Oh, sorry, it's a mid-roll ad. Hang on. Skip on. Thank you. Okay. Sorry, mid-roll ads, YouTube, make ad rev somehow. So tonight wouldn't be complete without some really boring awards, because this is what they do at these events, and I'm giving you an authentic experience because you paid money, and I will deliver, I promise. So tonight I would like to welcome you to the very first inaugural Welcome to the Ferguson and McFarlane Coincidence Awards. That's a little clap. Yep, thank you. Had to adjust the slides a little bit. Ferguson, McFarlane, who's that? We are honouring tonight the extraordinary coincidence of personal enrichment following a tenure of remarkably industry-friendly decision-making. Named after 2 of Australia's finest resource ministers, Ferguson and McFarlane, the very men who oversaw Australia's $150 billion gas giveaway to foreign corporations, before by sheer coincidence landing lucrative roles within the same industry they'd been so generous to. What a coincidence, I guess. To present this award tonight, we have a very special guest who said they couldn't make it. But in a remarkable coincidence, their schedule cleared up. Punters, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. Please welcome Anthony Albanese. Come on, give it up. He made it all the way from Parliament House here. Come on, get him all the way. It's a long way to go to the stage. Let's keep this going. Here we go. Anthony, this is absolutely amazing. I can't believe...
Is this thing on?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Do you want to be on the podium or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah. Well, I mean, take the floor. Thank you so much,
Thanks.
sir.
Conrad, I'm so glad that you finally had a little bit of understanding of realpolitik. Now, my name's Anthony Albanese. I'm your Prime Minister, in case you were wondering. And look, I'll keep this nice and short and sweet, unlike a cabinet meeting can be. Just a joke for all the politicians in the room here. Now, this award goes to someone very special, someone who got a great job out of politics, someone who has a lot of friends all across the world, and someone who has found themselves in a remarkable and honestly quite profitable coincidence. Now, I myself would maybe like to win this award a couple of years down the track, but, you know, because as you know, I grew up in council flats. I had a single mother.
Can you, just the award. Just
the award?
Yeah, we'll just give the award.
This is my Medicare card.
No.
Just the award.
We got to, we are running behind.
Really?
They finished their dessert. So if you could just deliver the award. Thank you, Anthony,
Okay,
Mr.
all right.
Sir.
Well, this award could have gone to many people, especially in the Liberal Party. But it's going to a man who's very close to my heart, a man who threw on me a $360 billion submarine deal right before I absolutely railed him in the election. Sorry about my language. But that $360 billion has done him very well. It's got him a job at DYNE Maritime, a leading weapons investment company, I guess. And ladies and gentlemen, a winner once again, for the first time in a long time actually. Can we give a big warm welcome to Scott Morrison? Thanks, Scott. Yeah, thanks, Scott.
I have always believed in miracles. Always. I've always said that. And one of the greatest miracles of my life, personally, has been landing my dream job in my dream industry, weapons industry. I am so happy to be serving such dedicated warmongers. I could not be happier. But, you know, in that same vein, I'd like to take issue with this award because I reject the award. I absolutely reject it. Why? Because I did not apply for this job. You know who did apply for this job? God. I'm a man of faith, and I have great faith that God has bestowed this job upon me. This has nothing to do with me. I'm not corrupt. I did not get it through any malpractice.
Scott, you can't reject the award. You worked for the company. You worked for DYNE?
That's not my job. Well, in this case, it is my job. But, you know, in this case, it is. Yeah, and look, as much as I'm happy to be up here, I don't like this award. I reject it. But what I will tell you, Mr. Prime Minister, is that after this, I am going to celebrate in the best way possible. I'm going to make what Jenny and the kids are calling my nuclear curry, and it'll blow your head off. It will blow your head off.
Nuclear curry?
I've never said that. I've never said that. I did not say that. How good is Australia?
Where's the award?
Where's the award?
It's at the back.
Okay.
Wow. This isn't even my job. I don't know why I'm here.
That was for, Albanese and ScoMo. Albo and ScoMo? I mean, I kind of find it funny that they were giving him shit about his Joy Division shirt. They must be happy that the Spandau Ballet shirts went on Redbubble that day. That's a deep cut for anyone who knows how that band got their name. We are nearly at the very, very end of the night. There's only 2 things left to do. One is to talk about the most supported policies after your votes. The third most popular policy that you were voting on tonight is end the corporate tax charge, which it beat out it's stopping billionaires buying politicians. So number 2, copy Norway's 78% super profits tax. And as voted by the people at the first Punters Politics Federal Politician Lobbyist Award, it's a very long acronym. We might have gone over the threshold, but as long as it is divisible by less than $16,899, it could be any number of anonymous donors that we also don't have to name. Like I said, everything that we does tonight is above board. Now, you might find out who this donor is in 19 months.
Maybe.
But that's well after any election. So don't worry about it. Business is fine. It's all good. No, I can't even tell you who they are. I don't even know who they are. He does.
We just take the money and we don't ask questions.
It's been an absolute pleasure being here with you tonight. I'm going to leave you in the hands of our Lord and Saviour, the King of the Punts, Punter!
Usher in for everybody! Honestly, give yourselves a round of applause. Regular punts who paid money to get special access to politicians. We did our best to deliver as many politicians as we possibly could. But genuinely, punters, we could not do this without you. You rocking up, you paying money, you coming to Canberra from like Melbourne and Perth. Blowing my mind. The only reason I have a few followers on Instagram and on YouTube is not because the algorithm likes what I'm doing, not because politicians want to pay attention to stuff, but because regular punters like you, despite what Osher keeps calling me, I'm also just a regular punter, But it's because of punters like you sharing what I've been doing, sharing on social media, promoting it, telling it to your friends, telling your mum to listen, parents getting their kids to watch, kids getting their parents to watch. Politician Bridget McKenzie has assured me that her kids watch my stuff. So to Bridget McKenzie's children, thank you. Because that's probably why she came tonight. And also because she believes in democracy, I guess. Right? Don't we all? So genuinely, thank you so much for coming. This could not happen without you. We are so close to the goal of $75,000. So if you're on the live stream, thank you for tuning in. You can still donate. Trust campaigns are right there. If there's any politicians still left here tonight, do we have any left in the room? This is so good. But there might be some around. Politicians, as soon as they're like, are we the centre of attention? Is that over now? All right, we'll leave. But that's all right. That's politics, baby. But genuinely, thank you again so much for going on, because I genuinely am really appreciative for every single one of you for coming, for supporting. Oh, there's a merch stand over there, I guess, if you really want to show your support. But, I'm not plugging it. And I want to say a special thanks. Can we bring up the sponsors on the thing there? I know Josh is running around. But the sponsor here, I've got him right here. Look at me. Honestly, genuine thanks. Small businesses, heaps normal, coming on board and filling the gap because we were a bit short. Thank you. Yeah, give a round of applause. This is regular Punter Cash. Power in politics. We want to change politics. We do want to get rid of this scam that keeps happening. And did you guys hear what I think Alan Haynes said? There's another lobbyist meeting happening in this hotel right now. So if you guys, I mean, it's probably still going, and I bet they didn't leave that one. I bet they're still there lobbying because this guy's got a lot of money. So if you want to meet, I mean, stand in the foyer and see who walks past and get another bonus lobby in there. So anyway, thank you again so much. Give yourselves a massive round of applause. Give the team a huge round of applause. We've got Josh, we've got Melissa, we've got Josh Sheps, we've got all the helpers that helped out tonight. We've got my wife Brooke who's been taking photos. Thank you so much, but thank you to you guys and everyone who helped out the team. Genuinely, thanks so much. I'll be around here. I'll get selfies with you out the front if you want one. I don't know why you would. But there's like you can get a photo with Albo and things like that. Yeah, I'll be around. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. And obviously Osher as well. How did I miss him? Thank you so much for Osher for hosting the thing. Give Osher a special round of applause. That's showbiz, baby. I didn't thank him because I'm actually wearing his suit. And I don't like standing next to him because he's slightly taller than me, and people might recognise that my cheap way to look rich was to wear his suit. So thank you so much, Osher. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. Once again, I'm going now. It's over. That's it. Bye.
Not running around doing Punters stuff at tables? Oh, we skipped it. I was gearing up for it, that's what I was going. Sorry. Good shit. Well done, Mr. Conrad. That's it, that's a wrap. Do you want to put your camera on and just get me rolled? Yeah. I am. Yeah. Josh, lovely to meet you, man. Yeah. So I'm Westie's offsider, so obviously Punter and Westie get a lot of mutual interest and stuff, so doing this is my background, doing tech, and this microphone is still on. Sorry? That shows it, I guess. You get it wrong. Bloody excellent night. We're kind of minor capacity tonight. Western, yeah, that's a good job. Nice to meet you, man. Well, it's 10 o'clock now. Because my Sony battery died. Mainly Black Magic, and then I've got a little Canon. So I'm just trying to work out if I'm trying to cut the stream or not. Actually, can I keep that on? Can I keep that on for the pack up?